Hello everybody, and thanks for checking out a video here on G4G Games for Gamers. Today we are wrapping up Subscriber Appreciation Week. This will be one of the last videos, probably the last video that I do for Union Jack team-ups, and I have two of them for you today. One that has been working out really well, and one that I want to work out well on paper, but unfortunately it just doesn't seem to work out quite as well as I'd hoped. Before we get into the last two team-ups, I wanted to point out that they snuck something into the game without a lot of fanfare, and I actually had to come across on the wiki to notice. And that is, as you can see, I'm tabbing over here, so you probably know where I'm going, is that they have gone ahead and given us the Marvel Avengers Age of Ultron suit for Captain America. So we're finally starting to get some movie suits roll out that are not part of the Spec Ops. Of course, we have the Hulkbuster for Iron Man. Got that last night. How I beat it is I went with some stats that were on the wiki, and rather than go the bleed route, I went the live route. So I ISO'd him with a bunch of sturdies, and then I gave him some fat masterfuls just to round out his stats over here. As you can see, his attack is 4 bars, his health is pretty big, and his defense was very big. And I gave him Soothing Rest, which actually I did not wind up needing. I put Suppressing on the level 2, so that Hulkbuster can spam the level 2 and keep the shield going and everything like that. And then when he came out of Hulkbuster mode into MK43 mode, I was able to go ahead and carry the stacks over and put him down with 2 Unibeam shots. So basically what I did was Repulsor Blast, Repulsor Blast, Repulsor Blast, Repulsor Blast, Unibeam, Unibeam, Dead Hulk. But it definitely took setting him up this way to do it. Of course, then there is the bleeder route, which is to just spam Digger missiles. Yep, that's basically it, which is the burning, chance to apply ravage, and up to 3 applications of bleeding. So, going with Hulk and Hulkbuster, we have Captain America's new suit, which, as you can see, is very similar to the first movie. It gives him the straps and everything, changes his boots a little bit, and it does a few extra things visually. His passive is that he has defensive stance, and he has inspiring leadership, which means you do not need to run a morale boost if you have a generalist, which, by the way, his other style of suit is from the tactician is the generalist suit. So you can either go generalist or tactician. He has a new passive called Together. Avengers Age of Ultron Avengers do not take extra damage from attacks that exploit status effects. Damage taken from dots is also reduced. So he has sort of Captain Marvel's exploitation protection, and he has the ability to take reduced damage from dots. The good thing about that is, unlike CSR, who is a gigantic toolbox and is very, very tough to run on defense because he has 3 rows of abilities, so essentially CSR has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 abilities that he could throw in any given point in time, plus a class switch, which is deadly if he's exhausted. You basically knock him back down to being a very straightforward character that can subdue with his personal ISO. Otherwise, he does Dizzy. He does Target Focus, which is the next single target attack, any single target attack. Shield Throw, and a quick action Shield Guard. Chances are, defensively, your defensive Captain America will trigger this, and hopefully he will not be exhausted at the time that he does it. and then he'll go ahead and set up for something. This is melee and vibranium. This is unarmed melee, so this will get tanked by the T-Bolt glove over here. Shield throw is ranged, and it hits everybody, so at least you finally have something to spam if you have a melee tanking agent. So yeah, you might see some return on Captain America to PvP. Hulkbuster's passives is that all AOO suited people will get Boonbuster. And over here on Hulk, he says that all AOO people are going to be uninterrupted. So Hulk taking reduced damage from dots, which will slow down the bleeds, which is one of the counters to Hulk, will be very, very good. Some people have asked, can you do a video on how to counter AOO Hulk? Because we may see him in the meta. Well, unfortunately, the only real way of doing it is exhausted. Neutralized comes about two ways. Neutralized and class disadvantage on bruisers. So if they are running the tactician form of Hulk, the only way you're going to get neutralized is if you cause it directly. If you are running the bruiser version, class disadvantage can cause it. There is only one weapon in the game, that causes a 100% chance of neutralized, and that is a member of the Vindication set, and it is called the Sonic Blaster. This is not to be confused with the subsonic gun from one of these Season 2 chapters. You have to run this with a power cell, but if you run a power cell and this gun, you have Sonic Blast, which counters symbiotes. You put out Generalized on everybody, which is a good debuff. You also put out Neutralized on everybody and Exhausted. So a power cell in this gun is not too bad. This is a giant meta killer. You generalize everybody, so now the classes don't matter. And then you neutralize everybody. And then you exhaust everybody for a turn. Not bad. And I wanted to point out while I'm here, the Obliterator is good for Union Jack because if you run a high charge, you fire off 2 bursts, which is considered a follow-up, and you apply Shield Breaker. Well, actually, did not want that. Let's go ahead and jump into the first team-up that I'm going to do for this video. I was running the Blade of the Guardian in that slot, and I want to get that back. I'm just showing you guys some different weapons that work out pretty well over here. And I think I have passed it already. So there's the Mimic. That doesn't counter, but that protects, and then you get a class benefit from it, which is not too bad. Sort of like being Taskmaster on a stick. There's my Blade of the Guardian. Okay, so my first team up that I'm going to show you is our boy Chase. Now, if you run the Caltrop launcher, which I've slotted out, it's really good because then you allow Chase to focus on anti-buff, debuff, and anti-melee, and let your Caltrop launcher go ahead and work on the anti-ranged. This is a phenomenal team up because both of these characters have a chance to do flanked. Chase, ooh, that power armor got double countered, and Union Jack likes that. And so does Chase. So right away, 2 of the gears on the agent have worked out phenomenally well, and now the power armor got a free flanked because of it. So I'm going to take advantage of that flank and set up UJ to counter melee and ranged, and now the protector is down. So, here's why Chase works out well. He has that pre-counter, and that comes off of Talkback. Chance to counter with Fistagon, Shock of the Lightning, Boom Boom Pow. And, of course, he gains his Empathetic Bond. So what I'm going to do here to kind of show you how well this team works out is I'm going to apply Old Lace to Sin via the X-Ray Goggles, and he's a creepy peeping Tom. And there goes that Blade of the Guardian counter, and Union Jack joined in. So the reason why you saw 2 counters go off before on the power armor is because of the Flaming Post. This was a gold sale item. In and of itself, it's a little bit of a weak item, but because it is psychic, it gets around protection effects. So I could hit anybody I want. The counter for this applies Pyrophoric and Flanked. So you're getting a free Flanked out of this, and of course Blade of the Guardian is getting a free counter and Rising Up, which eventually can lead to a heal with the Blessing of Heroes. So what I'm going to do now is stay put, because I don't want to give Sin the crits right now. Because she's going to get them when my agent is protecting, and there goes a rather strong Union Jack pre-counter. And there goes my own counter. And fortunately we get the reinforcements back. There's a pre-fire on Union Jack. There's the Flaming Post counter. So now the power armor is yet again flanked. And he's flanked for free. So, let's take advantage of that again. Set up Union Jack to counter all the things. And now she doesn't have any debuff attacks, so Fistagon, Shock of the Lightning won't do anything. But if you notice, Old Lace is still attached to Sin. So I'm going to go ahead and do this, and Old Lace will join in, and Union Jack has a chance to join in on Old Lace. But he doesn't. But he does pre-fire on the Vanguard. And the Vanguard takes a Flaming Post for it. And Chase jumps in. And Union Jack joins in on the jump in. So as you can see, this team is really working out extremely well. They're doing exactly what they are supposed to do. Now I realize, of course, Flaming Post and Blade of the Guardian are not that easy to get. But any pre-counter or follow-up weapon can definitely work. And because of running the Protector Agent, I'm assuring that the attacks come to my agent and fire off those counters. But like I said, you could easily run the Tactician suit from the last season, run the Caltrop launcher as a quick action, and allow Chase to go ahead and set up to block melee attacks. The other reason why this team up works is because of applying Old Lace, which is good, and he has a chance to cause class disadvantage and cause flanked, all in the same ability. That obviously sets up the team extremely well, and it also shuts down the very heavy counter class to that team up, which is of course a Bruiser. Chase is probably going to be one of the best Hulk counters around, because if he applies disadvantage to Tactician Hulk, there's your exhausted, and if he does it to Bruiser Hulk, there's the neutralized. So there goes the Blade of the Guardian counter, and there goes Chase joining in. Now what we're going to do is I'm not going to do the Blade of the Guardian, and I'm not going to do anything offensive on the weather control device because of that mental blast, so I'm going to hit him with the Flaming Post, which you will notice will not cause a counterattack. Oh, well, It's not supposed to, because of it being psychic, but okay. It worked the last time I did this. So now Old Lace is going to join in on attacks. He will not join in on that one because it was a quick action, but he can join in on either of these two. And there we go. There goes Old Lace getting involved. And apparently he went to do something there that he was blocked from doing. So he probably went to do a ranged attack over there. And again, I'm going to hit him with the Flaming Post. See if he counters that. Yeah, he's countering it, even though he's not really supposed to. But Old Lace joins in. And we're going to go ahead and hit him with this to shut down the crits on the Bruiser. And of course, Old Lace is still joining in. And thanks to the flanked, that was a triple attack there from Chase, of which Union Jack decided not to jump in on any of those. So now we'll go ahead and do the final team up of the Union Jack series. One that I had high hopes for, but sadly does not work out as well as you would want, even though you're like, man, it seems like this team up jumps off the page at you. Well, unfortunately, it doesn't get out of the gate quite as well as you had hoped. It is Karnak. Karnak likes to pre-fire on things, and you would think, wow, that's right up his alley, but unfortunately, it just seems like he doesn't do it a whole lot. So now Karnak likes to work with class disadvantage, and he also likes to work with pressure points. So honestly, anything that is a Paragon exploiter is a really good thing to work with over here. So I'm going to go ahead and set up with the Chakra Strike, which in and of itself has a chance for a counter, or a follow-up I should say, which is really good. And what you want to do with this thing is farm it. You can farm this from incursion, so this is a weapon that is not out of range for people. Union Jack goes first, which is great because we will set up on the flanked for the power armor. So now we are countering melee and ranged, building up those bounding stacks extremely fast. So here's a pre-counter on the power armor because the rock is ranged. And as you can see here, I can cause disadvantage, I can cause pressure points, and I can exploit the pressure points. I have guaranteed hit and crit, so you can ISO him without any need for accuracy. And you don't need the Dragon's Foot with this group, which is really, really nice. Everything he does is melee, so equipping him with the Scrapper ISO is the way to go. The power armor is going to tank it, because he's not stealthy. There goes a pre-counter. I don't know why did Karnak not follow up? He should have been flanked. Unless it happened so fast. Aha, there we go. Now Karnak's coming to life a little bit. The first time I recorded this, Karnak was not jumping in quite as often as I had wanted to. But he certainly has over here. So now that I fired that, they will not be firing ranged abilities. The Chakra Strike goes. And of course we have Thorns, which is good synergy with the Caltrop launcher. So we'll Caltrop again. And we will obviously go for the power armor when next up. So V for Victory is cooling down, so we're not going to go ahead and have the flanked, but we still have close quarters combat. So again, Union Jack increases his stacks and set up for his counter everything. He went to do a hurl, but couldn't. So now stress point perception is out on everybody, which says everybody has weak point, everybody has combos set up, which we have all these melee attacks over here, and everybody is wide open. We have all these melee attacks over here. If you want to run him with Karnak, what you could do is apply the pressurized ISOs to Union Jack's melee abilities, which will put out pressure points. Ooh, that was strong. And by putting out pressure points, Karnak has a chance to exploit them on his level 9, which is the Fatal Blow. So Karnak did pretty good that time around. Not quite as good as some other people like Chase and Hogun when paired up with the Tankard, but not too bad. And the good thing is, you know, Karnak is accessible. You don't need anything special on Karnak. It's not like, oh, I gotta farm this ISO for him or anything like that. He's just, you can use him as vanilla Karnak. That head has always bothered me. Never liked Karnak's head. So Mystic Shroud is still working because Mental Blast has not gone off. Alright, so we will apply... We don't need to apply the disadvantage because there is no bruisers here right now. So instead, we'll do this. And because of the flank, we followed up. Union Jack joined in on the extra attack. Karnak takes a Mental Blast, but Mystic Shroud is still up. We're not going to go ahead and set him bleeding because we want to do as much damage from Karnak and Union Jack. And there goes the Mystic Shroud. I now have Migraine. So, we'll just get out some more pressure points and a chance to exploit the ones he already has. Union Jack joins in on the follow-up. I'm still going because of the blaster, so there's another round of Chakra Strike. Another round of a follow-up. To which Union Jack joins in. So right now it's the Agent and Union Jack pretty much doing the majority of the work over here. So Union Jack is now up to 5 stacks. Still taking advantage of the flanked, even though Arnhem doesn't have any melee. Can't counter his summons, unfortunately. But he went to do a ranged ability to which he cannot do it. And now, thanks to all these pressure point debuffs on him, it just increases the damage that Shatter Strike will do, and Shatter Strike obliterates. So, this team on paper should work out tremendously well because of Karnak's pre-counters, but unfortunately, his pre-counters go off a little bit more when you are working against a, if you have another Inhuman with you, which, unfortunately, we have no way of making the Agent do that. There is no, like, Guardians of the Galaxy badge or Warrior 3 tankard for the Inhumans. Maybe we'll see that eventually, like, Lockjaw's Pheromones or something like that, where maybe you put on some cologne that makes you smell like Lockjaw, and that counts for being an Inhuman or something like that. But Karnak and Chase are going to be good OW Hulk counters because of that whole class disadvantage thing. And Karnak could work out on... Oh, there's the follow-up from Chakra Strike. And Union Jack likes that, so he jumped in on it. But because it's a melee attack, Baron Zemo countered. We'll set up with that flanked. See, now, that could work out. If Karnak was replaced with Hero Gauge Iron Fist over there, Hafe would be preventing all of those Sword Slash counters, to which Union Jack could be joining in on Hafe's pre-counters. So that is another possibility, and that one actually makes you want to run Tacticians because you want to piss Infiltrators off. So I'll show you that as a little bit of a bonus over here. Let's go ahead and get Hafe out and show you what Hafe can do when you piss off Infiltrators. Plus, hey, you know, being immune to debuffs and all is nothing to shake a stick at. So now Winter Soldier's going to counter, but he combo breaks, which Union Jack could join in on, but he doesn't. So we're going to heal. Let's see if it gets rid of the mines. It probably shouldn't. Yeah, I didn't think it would. The mines being subtle. So that's a good thing about Fixer stuff, is that Fixer's mines will stick even through debuff cleansing. So Hafe went to sleep over here, which happens sometimes. And unfortunately, Union Jack did not join in on any of Hafe's pre-counters, although he certainly has the ability to do so. And this kind of a team-up is good if you really like Tactician agents, because then Hafe will do a lot of preventing and Union Jack will join in quite often. So, hope you enjoyed this series on Union Jack over here. And obviously this week, when Week in Marvel Avengers Alliance returns, we'll be discussing the Spec Ops, how it's going, the gear, hopefully some more suits aside from Captain. Maybe I should definitely have the Hulk suit by then. I just want to train him and also get one of his personal ISOs. One of his better personal E-ISOs is from here in this mission, which is the one called Defic Inadequacy, and it's the one where you fight the Dark Avengers in Chapter 2. I believe this is 256, and he has that heroic against Red Hulk, and he has a pretty good E-ISO that drops over there. So, hope you guys enjoyed the video, and stay tuned for this week's Week in Marvel Avengers Alliance, and maybe some focus on all the new Avengers suits. Bye-bye!